Welcome to Objections with Stan Willis. I'm Michael Morris. This is Stan Willis. Stan Willis, you brought a friend, confidant, partner.
I brought my friend and partner, Ashley Starling. Ashley's been interested in what we're doing up here. So I said, well, why don't you come and do this with us?
He made me do it.
She's very bashful. If you would have seen what we did beforehand, we're going to try to coax it out of her.
I threatened to fire her husband and, kidnap
She beat
her
you to it?
And she said, okay, I'll do it. Yeah, she didn't care about him, but the kids she was worried about.
You know what I like? I like.
It's a good point. I see too much of him anyway. I mean, he is just downstairs.
The show is more important than a play. First of all, once again, this show is going to be brought to you by Clorox because you're going to spill that shit all over yourself. You wore your Don Johnson jacket in here. You're going to get stuff all over yourself, and I'm not going to feel bad about it.
Wait, should I do the Miami Vice thing? Should we?
Oh, you absolutely should. You should have had the tank top. If you had the tank top, so you could pull it off. So you had your gun belt here.
I'm really way too fat for a tank top.
You gotta have a floral shirt though. Like we need to get you a floral shirt to put under this. Maybe some pleated Dockers to really got that Miami Vice.
I think it works.
Looking, it works.
You're pulling it off. I'm not.
I wouldn't lie to you. You look great.
Why would I on a show with your name on it kiss your ass? Why would I do that?
Nobody does. I really am.
I'm glad that we have Ashley here because now the three brightest minds in law are together for once. Three people that know the law inside and out. Fair enough, Ashley?
That's scary.
There you go. So.
But I try.
And as usual, I have to say, Michael, you're not a lawyer.
You don't have to say it. The people that are listening, if they're watching on YouTube, they can see the way I'm dressed excellently. They're going to know I'm not an attorney, but the people listening on Spotify and iTunes are not going to know that.
That you're not an attorney? Or that you're dressed?
Why do you keep saying it over and over? You said it once. It was good enough.
What is it that they're not going to know? I mean, are they going to assume you're sitting here freaking naked? Because that would be awful.
Let me just say after that comment.
Can I see your shirt, though? Because I cannot currently see your shirt. Yes, I need to see it.
It's the Megalodon truck for Monster Jam because
I love it.
I wear the nicest stuff when we record this show.
Well, you guys told me to be myself, and now I think I should have worn my Barbie T-shirt.
You could wear the other Megalodon shirt I have if you'd like.
Barbie.
Yeah,
you can do Barbie.
Well, Sam, I'm super glad that you brought up the way I was dressed because that makes me think you have a thing for me. But it brings up our topic for today.
You are a slightly overweight, disgustingly looking man. But other than that,
I am. Let me just say this because I want our listeners to know I'm like the Black Denzel Washington. Now, here's what I'm going to say to you. Our topic today, because we all know so much about the law, is the "Don't Say Gay" bill.
The "Don't Say Gay" bill.
Right? No, don't say it. You just said it after I said it. Nope, you're doing it again.
You're not allowed to say it.
Right? Yeah. See, Ashley, this is why.
Am I allowed to say it or what?
You can't say fruity. You can't say that in Florida.
I can't say gay.
I guess not.
All right.
But there are billboards that Eric Adams.
What if I'm quoting Thoreau and he says gay? Can I still
I would
say
love
gay?
to know the reference that you're thinking of that you could quote Thoreau.
The one where he's talking about meanwhile up in the sky, something gay was happening.
You're discussing the movie Die Hard. Now, Ashley, I want to go to you on this. We haven't read the entire bill.
Thoreau he wrote Die Hard? Did you know that?
He was in Die Hard. He was Hans Gruber.
No, but I'll be honest. I haven't seen Die Hard.
Was he laying on a pond?
But I will agree.
You grew up in this country, right?
I did. I have not seen Die Hard. My husband tries every single year. I know. I haven't seen it.
Wait, at Christmas time?
It's the best Christmas movie ever.
That's what everyone says. Christmas Vacation will always be near and dear to my heart. So I'm not sure. But.
I'm rethinking my invitation of Ashley.
Wait. This is what I want to know. If she really loves this movie, what's the best quote in the entire movie?
Okay, let's see. My favorite is Merry Christmas, kiss my ass, kiss his ass, kiss your ass, Happy Hanukkah.
That is fantastic.
That is, in fact, my favorite when he speaks to the man and the man's man and the man's man and so on. And
the second best one is, we're going to put a tree that size, Griswold. You got a lot of nerve talking to me that way.
Bend down, I'll show you.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I'm glad we're staying on topic. So my question is legally... This is being, first of all, media, and this is a shocker, is misrepresenting what this bill is. Right. Ashley, go ahead.
It doesn't actually say "don't say gay."
It doesn't say that at all in the bill. So, Ashley, we kind of talked about it before we started. Can you kind of break down what that bill actually is?
So, my understanding, and I have not read the bill, so I always put a disclaimer on that, but my understanding is the bill is it's hopefully to allow parents to have the initial conversations with their children on things like gender identity, sexual orientation, up and until the 3rd grade. So really those first years. At that point, the bill does nothing. So, but my understanding is that the concern would be that we are not taking into consideration children that don't have that supportive environment at home. At least that's my understanding to most of the objections associated with the bill.
What I don't understand about the bill, and Stan, I'm going to come to you as a man who's come out of the closet 3 or 4 times on the show. Where does
I'm
a
always
child?
coming out of the closet somewhere.
I know. I didn't think it was a big deal until you were nuzzling my ear, and I'm like, we're trying to record. When you, because you have children, I assume some of them are yours. When you've had to tell,
wait, are you saying my wife is loose?
I would never say that about Kelly while she's in the building because she's like an angry Wolverine. But if she wasn't here, I would say whatever I want because I don't fear anyone who's not here.
You better fear that she listens to this.
Oh God, who listens to this? I mean, Kendra listens to this. That's it.
No, Kelly actually does listen to this.
Oh shit, Nate, edit all that out. I'm just kidding. Make it louder. I want you to know. So, Stan, when you had to talk to your kids about these subjects, about
these sexual
reproductive
things,
rights or
right,
sexual,
yeah.
How often did that come up before they were like 9 years old?
So my technique was always whenever they would ask a question, I would answer the question until they couldn't take it anymore.
Wait, give an example of what you mean.
So when they would ask about, for instance, where do babies come from, I would start telling them until they said, okay, stop, I don't need to hear anymore.
You mean you got like really into the fallopian tube and all that?
Oh, well, yeah, I would just start talking about, what happens and attraction and sexuality and all these
Two people meet at a bar, they get overserved.
2 people meet at a bar and, she forgot to take her pill that day. And no, I didn't actually
He forgot he was married.
And it's funny because most of the time prior to 4th grade, you didn't get very far down the rabbit hole before they were.
Are you using it as a euphemism?
Yes.
Okay.
So, but you didn't get very far before they were going, oh, please stop. I don't want to hear anymore. I can't deal with this. But that was before 4th grade. Generally, what I found was around 4th or 5th grade was when the most conversation happened. And then,
but out of curiosity, I don't understand what's going on with myself.
Right. And then by the time with my kids, by the time that they were in 6th grade, they really didn't want to talk to their parents about sex anymore. It became kind of an embarrassing subject.
I'm 46. I've never had that conversation with my family.
You never had your parents didn't tell you about.
I still don't even know what I'm doing.
Where babies? Well, that I believe.
I'm just like banging on a bus window. I have no idea what I'm doing, and it's worked out. I have one child. I think it's mine.
So she was dropped off on your doorstep.
Yeah, all children come from Detroit.
I've met Mia. She's way too nice to be your child.
That kid fucking rocks.
Yeah.
But I will say this: she's never asked me.
I don't think she's got your genetics, man. I really don't. I think she's way too nice.
No, she's super cool.
Right.
So she's not my kid.
I think Nate's her dad.
If Nate was her dad, can you imagine that? Can you imagine she'd have the biggest beard you ever saw.
Sorry,
Ashley,
Mia,
how old is your child? Is under a year, right?
I have 3.
Oh, okay.
So I have one that's 4 months. I have a daughter that's 5, and I actually have a son that's 9 and in the 3rd grade. So he falls right off the edge of that bill, and we actually had a little bit of conversation this week because he was playing outside and he came in. I thought, God, he stinks. And I was like, well, it's time to have at least some basic conversation. So I bought him the Guy Stuff book. So I don't even think he's looked at it. I put it in his room and I said, hey, I bought you a book. It has to do with, all kinds of different things that's going to happen to you in the next couple of years. I said, you know what puberty is, right? And he said, well, I've heard the word, but I don't really know. And so we had some kind of basic conversation to the point where he said, okay, Mom, that's good. So I said, well, you know what? I'll have your dad come in and sit with you and you guys can read the book together. But anything before that, I really don't know that he's ever really considered things like gender identity and sex. I think obviously he's heard the word. I don't have any indication right now that he knows what it is or he's playing dumb. He just, he's already at the point where he's like, no, Mom.
But he's a kid, right?
Right.
So he still does kid things.
He does kid things. He plays with Legos. He likes to go outside and play.
So I have a question. Aren't you worried about your husband learning things in this book? I mean,
wait a
don't
minute.
you think that maybe you should put an adult in the room?
I just thought of this.
Maybe I should have a moderator there.
This is a solid point. What if the book was really for him? And go show your dad this book because he smells like
sneaky. I like good play.
I mean, I'm not going to say I haven't used the kids to try to get a point across to dad by saying, "Hey, why don't you give this to your dad or send him an article? This is about the kids." To try to
kids
teach him
love Mercedes Benz. Dad, Mom gave me this catalog.
I tried that with gifts, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to register with him. I mean, we have to kind of needle things in little by little. So if I really want something, I have to send a very clear picture, and then I need to send it about 18 more times before he finally goes, "Oh, I really like that. Did you want that?" So it takes a little time.
Like the
Have
peach
you tried
emoji.
just buying it, wrapping it, putting his name on to Ashley, putting it there? Wow, Jason, thank you.
All you really need is his credit
But
card.
it doesn't mean the same because he didn't think about it. Because anyone that knows my husband knows that he really doesn't think about it until, again, you've told him about 15 to 18 times. And then all of a sudden it becomes this idea. It's a great idea. And then, he really thought about it. So
This man's an attorney, right? It's not like he works in the mailroom.
He's a brilliant attorney, actually.
He is actually an
Isn't it
exceptional attorney.
He's like the Rain Man of attorneys. He's really good at his
If you really
job.
wanted to talk about the bill, he could probably tell you a lot more of the context because he probably has read about it. He is very well informed on all topics, which make him either a perfect person for this podcast or not a good choice at all. Because I question how much of this you guys actually get done.
Oh God, we get like a good 3 minutes of
3
actual
minutes
conversation.
of actual conversation.
27 is
You
just.
actually probably covered more than we would have covered had you not been here.
That's because in advance I may have prepped a little bit, did a little bit of Googling.
If
Not
we
that I
did
didn't
a
know what was going
3-part
on.
series on this, we'd have 6 minutes of actual content in 90 minutes. So when I see all this stuff, the Eric Adams, the reason I brought this up was Eric Adams is spending New York City's taxpayer money for tourism to put up billboards for 8 weeks in Florida. And he touted this is going to get 3 million impressions and blah, blah, blah. 3 million impressions in billboards is about 2.5 weeks. So this is not
spending money from New York City in a Florida political campaign.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I
completely understand.
That's why I brought it up because it's being messed
because they have so much extra money there in New York City and no poverty at all and no problems there that they could use the money for.
Just because they have trash on every city
I
block.
was going to say the issues with sanitation and everything else. They think let's use our money down in Florida.
I mean, this proves that Eric Adams is a brilliant, brilliant mayor because what he's anticipating is that New York City is going to shut down and everyone's moving to Florida. So he's trying to prepare a place for his people to go.
I just don't understand the purpose of if you don't understand what the bill is yourself.
I mean, AOC spends a lot of time there, and I mean, she's already
maskless
moved into
at that, even when she's not supposed to be, because we should all wear cloth masks. I will say, from a political aspect, if you put a cloth mask on, it's really not doing much for you unless you sneeze in someone's face.
But if you're ugly, feel free to go ahead and wear a cloth mask,
or if you want to hide, which is nice. I mean,
I'm so offended that you attacked AOC on this show. First of all, she's one of 100 people that vote or don't vote on things, and she is a treasure.
exactly.
I would miss her if she wasn't.
what would we do for our memes if we didn't have her?
Oh my God!
And she's got those eyes that are.
That's what I'm saying. We wouldn't have any memes left.
She always looks like she's paying attention, but too much attention.
Oh, I mean, like literally under crazy eyes in the dictionary is a picture of her. It's just
my favorite meme of all time.
You did say that on a podcast.
I was coming back from Florida.
Don't edit that out. Leave that in.
No, edit that out. Put the Kelly thing in twice. When we were coming back from Disney, I saw this great picture of AOC where she's doing this, and it says, not bread lines, garlic bread, right? Because here we are suffering so badly, and she's in Florida. It's like, it's not really a bread line, it's a garlic bread line. And I thought, that is Congress. But there's nothing wrong with our government, as we cover every week. Everything is good.
Speaking of Congress, did you see the Madison Cawthorn interview?
What was the coke and orgies thing?
He said he'd been invited to multiple sex parties in D.C. and that people had approached him about paying him for his votes and all this kind of stuff. So like 3 days after that, they announced that he's going to be primaried by 3 different Republicans. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't have anything to do with anything.
I would absolutely love to go to those parties, and I want to primary him as well.
I just want to think, what are you thinking? The
Why do you say that loud?
Come out of just politicians' mouths. Sometimes I go, what the heck? Did you ever consider that they're going to cut that, splice that, and really make that look great when we hear it again, when we see it on YouTube?
I
mean, I am blown away. I mean, even if he's telling the truth, I mean, do you want to talk about it?
DC sounds like the coolest frat party ever. Wait a minute. If you think that that's bad, when
Except they have money for really good alcohol and not the crappy kinds.
They're not drinking bottom shelf.
You want to go to a sex party with Nancy Pelosi?
Wait,
that was really a graphic description.
Isn't an eyes wide shut? Is she wearing a sheet mask? Do I have to see her? Because from the neck down, most of that is new parts. It's the top part. Like when she smiles, I feel like she's ripping her ass. Like I just don't understand what's going on with her face. But from the neck down, this is all 20 to 20 years old. You know what I mean? But from here on up, that's about 83 years old. I don't know. She just looks like she smells like old Spanish leather. I'm glad that once again you brought up the key part of what this bill's about, Nancy Pelosi.
Well, she's just a very critical part of our infrastructure here in the U.S.
I'm getting that Playboy if she's in it, if that's what you mean. The question I want to come here, C. Stanley.
Really awful thought.
Because I got to get your opinion on this.
Okay, my opinion.
So this bill's going to pass in Florida.
Because everybody that's listening to this is caring about my
Your
opinion.
name is on the show.
I know, but they only listen for you. You're the lawyer here, right?
I'm the only one. I'm the only one dispensing law advice every single week that is probably fraudulent, but I would definitely follow some of it.
Would you?
Probably not.
So let's take an example here. What would you follow, not follow?
We did have a thing we were talking about, simple assault or something, and I said if you punch them first and no one sees it, just lie, you could get away with that.
You
correct?
said that?
Yes. I'm sorry, do you do the show with me or are you doing the show with the plant behind you?
Is he making this up? Did he really say this, Nate? I don't
We've
remember.
had so many.
Do you
Nate
remember
doesn't
this?
listen to the show. Even when he's editing the show, he doesn't listen to the show. Nate is listening to like podcasts about wrestling while he's editing this thing. He couldn't care.
It's because he likes men in tights.
Speaking of that, back to the bill. My question is this. If Florida passes that, do other states do the same thing? And do we really have like these red states and blue states for real?
I think, there's a bill similar pending in Ohio,
yes,
right?
they just introduced it, yes.
I think, and that's weird because Ohio is a purple state. We can go either way here. But Florida.
That's beyond the original bill. Any hold that fits you? Is that what it's called? Or is it they don't get...
Florida's a red state a blue state at this point. And I think that you're going to see most of your conservative states will probably follow suit if this passes.
Like Oklahoma and Texas.
Oklahoma, South Dakota.
Can you imagine if you're gay in North Dakota? How lonely must that be?
I can't imagine being in North Dakota.
I like that you can't imagine being gay. You left yourself wide open for that. I mean,
I don't think that's what I meant to say.
This is literally his best show. I just want to cut out his answers. Take the rest of the show out. I just want his answers to these things. I just
snorted on the radio too, by the way. You shouldn't make me laugh like that. It's
this
really
award-winning program brought to you by Pfizer.
Pfizer. I didn't snort before I had the vaccine.
You know who would think that's funny? All the people that died from heart problems from Pfizer. Anyway, Ashley, back to this. So with your 3 kids, do you if this gets brought up and they're hearing this stuff at school, because my daughter's 15 and comes back, and all of her teachers, that let's just say there's a lot of softball playing women that work there, and they want to bring up their lifestyle and their partner, their wife, and all that other stuff. And normally that stuff doesn't faze anybody. It's when she hears that they want to teach more than just reproductive, pregnancy scares and all that. How do you handle it? Because you have kids of 3 different ages, right? So you're going to have to kind of go through this in 3 different phases anyway.
And you know what? I don't really know yet because I'm not really looking forward to all those conversations.
You want me to tell them?
Right now, I take a candid approach with if you have a question, I answer, and that's how we do it. And then from there, if we need to explain more, which eventually we will have to do, we will do that. But right now, I know one of the questions recently is my daughter said, can a man marry a man? I said, yes, they can. I mean, that's all I needed to say. I didn't need to say any more than that. And if she wanted more information, I would provide it to her at an age-appropriate level. I think the major concern, at least from what I can tell from the bill, is that conversations should be age-appropriate. They should be had in the home first.
It should be up to your parents to teach you that stuff.
Right. And then when you get to an age where you're getting closer to where they need to teach reproduction and those types of things, it makes sense maybe for the school to have some conversation. But again, we control the government, and the school is part of the government. So
that was the funniest lie you've ever told. We as the people control the government?
Yes, we're supposed to.
That's the theory.
In theory.
Oh, I'm sorry. We were just discussing theory. That's fine. Yes, we in theory control the government.
I mean, that was Thomas Jefferson's idea.
I've never heard of that guy.
Thomas Jefferson, yeah. I don't doubt that you haven't.
Are you saying that you're richer in knowledge of presidents than I am in law?
I'd say I'm richer in knowledge in general.
I'm not,
Ouch.
no, he's right. I'm not going to argue that.
I'm just playing with you, Michael.
You know what's a funny thing is I was trying to think of when I would have learned it, because again, my parents never had the discussion other than my mom saying, "I'm too young to be a grandmother." That was the only thing that was ever said, and I kind of got it. That's not a joke. That was a real thing in front of my grandparents who came here from Puerto Rico. That was said at the Cracker Barrel. I'll never forget it. And I was like, "I'll teach you," and I knocked up a ton of horse. But did you ever? Did your parents ever sit either one of you down and be like, "Let me tell you what's going on"? Well, I don't know. It might be different for a woman. I think somebody would have said something.
I think I had enough conversations with my mom. Yeah, my mom took care of those conversations.
He's like, he's hot, he has money, get knocked up?
No.
Well, I'm just guessing at what women say to other women. I don't know that many women, is what I'm saying.
Well, women have we have a different time frame too, because puberty happens earlier for girls. So they have to have more conversations than just one. I think with guys, you probably can sit around and finally somebody say, okay, we have to have the talk. It doesn't really work like that for females.
You went to school in Huntington, right?
I did. So I had to learn.
So they start that pole dancing class there in about third grade. So
right.
You probably had to be.
Well, they have to do that in between teaching them how to build washing machines and things.
Well,
Huntington is.
I just like.
Huntington is the Harvard of the South.
Well, thank you. We have
there's
to
a
like
there's
it.
a compliment to you. Well, she lives in Columbus.
I do live in Columbus. That's true.
I lived on the Ohio side of the river down near Huntington there. So
you like to pretend like that makes you better than the rest of us.
It does make me better than the rest. I'm from Wheelersburg.
He wore a monocle to school. Okay, so he was better. Guys, we got to wrap this up.
I don't know if I could wear a monocle.
But we're gonna try it next show.
Okay, it's
gonna go with your jacket. And then after the show is over, I'm going to teach you about the birds and the bees.
The birds and the bees.
You've been listening to Objections with C. Stanley Willis. We'll see you next week.